The latest. Thank you for your love and support. Africa can become great again. According to Neil Degrass Tyson, when he was asked what he thinks about Africa being great again, and he said he don't only think, he believed that Africa will rule the world again. According to him, years back, the United States of America that we see today that is ruling the world was nothing. The only thing that they did was to invest in research, science, and any other thing that would make the nation move forward. So if Africa should start investing in science, technology, and everything that will help the African economy to move, or Africa to move forward, then Africa will rule the world. He have a strong belief, and he knows very well that Africa will one day rule the world again. That within a century, the United States of America turned back time, and today it is a great nation. It's the same way Africa can do it. Nothing will stop Africa from ruling the world. And we all know that one day Africa is going to rule the world. We can have all the natural resources and everything that we need to be great and still be suffering. We also need to take our sovereignty, and we believe and hope and know very well that Africa will lead the world again. It will beat the United States of America and all other Western countries that came in and colonized us. We will be strong, and we can do it because we have everything that it takes to be great again. All we need is unity because our strength lies in it. So that's the latest around the world and in the United States of America.
Do you, Neil, believe? Because I asked.
I don't believe. That's not a belief thing. I don't. That's not.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Neil.
Fine.
I'm still gonna do it because that's what I ask a lot of my guests. It's important.
Okay, go.
It's our African. This is going to be mostly for an African audience, right?
Fine.
So, do you believe that Africans can become more prosperous in this century?
Oh, but definitely. When I look over the history of, before 1910, the United States was kind of a backwoods farmland country. We had a couple of big cities, but they were kind of smelly and dirty, and they were not very sophisticated, not like London or Paris, for example. And the country was built within a century to become a leader in the world in science and technology because there was values placed on research and engineering and math and the STEM fields. Okay. So, and that happened within a century. Before then, Europe basically led the world. All right. They embraced science and technology early. All right. The Industrial Revolution hit them first. And that fueled their power over the rest of the world. Okay. A lot of it was worked towards health and security and wealth, but the rest was like hegemony. Okay. That's how they chose to use their power of influence and wealth. You go back 1,000 years, the golden age of Islam out of Baghdad, with major advances in science and engineering, and astronomy and medicine. 2/3 of all, and navigation, 2/3 of all stars in the night sky that have names have Arabic names, traceable from that period. You go back thousands of years before that, you have Egypt as one of the greatest cultures civilizations has ever seen. The pyramids were the tallest structures, stable structures, to exist in this world until the Eiffel Tower. Okay? So, all I'm declaring here is no one country, no one region has eternal rights to leading the world. It's a combination of how enlightened is your leadership, what are the motivations for doing so, and they can easily happen within a century. Africa, with the resources that are built in just to the land and the people and the diversity, I don't see why Africa wouldn't lead the world for millennia to come. And so, yeah. And with the United States just looking from the sidelines, that's my read of history tells me nothing in principle will prevent that. Look what China did. It wasn't many decades ago before, you know, the stereotype of the Chinese peasant working in the field, that was kind of true. Okay. China decided we're going to redouble our interest in science and technology and engineering and math. And they sent their people abroad to get educated. Initially, they would stay. Then they came back. Now they educate their own people. Okay. They don't have to learn their science and engineering in other countries. They do it in-house in the country. China says we're going to put a person in orbit, bada bing. They put a person in orbit. We're going to build a space station, bada bing. So we're going to put people on the moon. That spooked us. We haven't been on the moon in 50 years. And all of a sudden, hey, let's put people on the moon. It's kind of the right time. Well, why is it the right? Oh, China is doing it. All right. So we're seeing a shift in science and technology to China. And so I don't see why things can't shift to Africa.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Even.
Okay. It's overdue. Thank you so much. Neil, is there anything that you wanted to bring up that we didn't get to bring up?
Yeah, just a simple thing. A lot of what I shared with you are derived from thinking that went into the Starry Messenger cosmic perspectives on civilization, or what I shared with you in that book. And so in there, it's fully footnoted and there's precision in the communication, even if especially when we were talking about Republicans and Democrats, it's numerically accurate in those, how many states out of 10 were red or voted blue, who went one way or another, which presidents had which budgets. It's all in there. So I invite those who never felt comfortable assigning someone else's political platform to their own views. The chapter in that book called Conflict and Resolution is all about how to apply your own rational thinking to information so that you can decide you are your own individual.
Yes.
Which we all are, ultimately.
Ultimately. Now, this has been really fun, Neil. I knew I could count on you to, just take things back from a more fair way, a view of looking at things. It doesn't matter where people land in terms of, in the end, what they perceive to be. I think at the end of the day, there's just a process that needs to be had. So
excellent, and thank you for noting that. And like I said, if what we have seen in the last 300 years is that science and technology brings nations out of poverty. So it's a matter of bringing more science and more technology to Africa, even though it's hugely agricultural, of course. Even agriculture benefits from applications of science and technology in ways that would not have otherwise been possible. So, yeah.